Satsang ji, Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh. Thank you for joining us on the Sikh Youth Show today on Sikh Channel Sky 829. We've got a very important show because it's discussing an issue that's affecting a lot of people in the country at the moment, sexual grooming. And we're going to be talking about, in particular, a letter that was sent out yesterday to the Times by Lord Singh and other religious leaders from various different communities that came in commending what Sarah Champion had stated a few weeks ago in regards to saying that largely the men that were convicted for the crime of street sexual grooming or gang-related sexual grooming came from a particular community. In her words, she was talking, saying, this is her words, she's saying largely from the Pakistani Muslim heritage. Now, the letter that was sent, a joint letter from various leaders yesterday that went out, came out and said, listen, we need to address this issue. So we're going to be talking to Lord Singh in a few moments. But first, we're going to be talking with a panel that we have with us here on at the Sikh Channel Studios. And first of all, let me introduce the panel that we have. On the far left, we have Kabir Singh, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Ishmeet Kaur, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And Deepa Singh, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. All these three Naujawan are from Sikh Youth UK, a voluntary organisation that's been set up to target and help those people that have become victims of sexual grooming. So these guys are dealing with the issue firsthand. So they're dealing with cases, and they have live cases at the moment where they're helping victims that have gone through this horrendous crime and getting them and supporting not only the victim but the family also, working with the authorities to deal with this issue. So that we're going to be speaking to them regarding this issue. And not only that, I think it's important to mention that they deal with cases of alcohol and drug addiction also. So this is some of the work that this organisation is doing, Sikh Youth UK. So what we're going to do very quickly, we'll come to Deepa Singh first. Paji, you've seen the letter that's been sent out by Lord Singh and other leaders. Why do you think it's so important that they send these letters out in saying, commending what Sarah Champion actually said?
I think it's really important that as Sikhs, we stand by the truth. And this is what Maharaj teaches us. We have to stand by the truth.
But this is not the first time an MP has come out and publicly said this.
No, no. So I believe in 2012, Jack Straw, he was the Home Secretary at the time, and he brought it up. I believe it was straight after the Rochdale case, when the Rochdale grooming gang were convicted, and you know, we've seen what's happened on the BBC have been highlighting it. Like, it's not just one channel that's highlighted it. A lot of the media have been highlighting. You know, they're showing documentaries like The Three Girls, and there's been documentaries going deep into this gang-related grooming now, which is a big thing, because it's like an epidemic in UK right now.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to Ishmeet Kaur. Ishmeet, thank you for coming on the panel today. You're obviously a Sevadar with Sikh Youth UK. You're dealing and you're helping with the victims of sexual grooming, but also you just recently starred in a film that was done by Sikh Youth UK, where you highlighted the plight of young victims where they've been targeted. So just first of all, welcome to the show, and just give your insight into what you found when dealing with these cases.
I've only been a part of Sikh Youth UK for like the past year now, but from what I did a lot of extensive research when I was playing the character of Japneet in the film, in Misuse Trust, and it came back time and time again to who the perpetrators were. And I know from research that I'm currently doing for some projects that we're working on, and research back when I was doing the film, it always leads back to the same community. And the more that we shy away from saying that, it means that we're never ever going to deal with the issue. And it's so important that I can't really expand anymore on what Deepa Baji said. Like, he's been doing the seva, and I know a lot of people have been doing the seva for a long time and dealing with these issues. But from what I've seen, it always seems to be the same. And we need to keep spreading that message. And it's not a message of hatred at all. That's what I think people get confused with. We're not attacking a religion. We're just trying to address a situation where our young sisters are being affected, and we need to speak out against it. We know that there are issues within the Punjabi Sikh community relating to drug and alcohol abuse on a really, really high scale. So if we are accepting that that's an issue, then we need to accept that our girls are being targeted by grooming gangs from the Pakistani Muslim community and do something by educating and preventing it from happening.
All right, fair comments. Could be just a quick question. Do you think it's right, though, to publicly, especially for MPs and people of power and public authority, to come out and say, well, hold up, it's this particular community that is the perpetrators of this particular crime? Do you think that's fair, or do you reckon that's stigmatising that particular community and hindering the process of getting to the root cause and dealing with this actual issue?
I think it would be a case of stigmatising, Baji, if it was just, you know, a couple of cases here and there. But the vast majority of cases that we deal with, Sikh Youth UK, is from that particular community. And I feel history is going to carry on repeating itself.
Right.
I'd like to touch upon the point of white girls being... The politicians have said in the past that Jack Straw said it was white girls being targeted. It's actually Sikh girls who have been targeted, one of the most... They're the most targeted, and I believe that it goes back to 1978, the first case, really. This was after the Indians defeated Pakistan in the war, and it was predominantly Sikh soldiers. So the Pakistanis in this country started sort of a love jihad against the Sikh community, in a way to target that community, to get back at the community. Yeah, and in turn, to this Baji, Sikhs felt neglected as a community, and they felt they had no one to turn to.
All right. But surely the authorities would have been intervening had it been gang-related, like you were saying, that if they were targeted. You know, where is this coming from? Is this coming from authorities? Is this coming from the work that you've done? Where is this coming from?
It's a mixture of all, actually, all aspects. Cases have been given to the police, even to this day, but the cases we feel have been neglected.
I think there's a touch of like a denial maybe coming, not from the whole community, just a few, maybe the influential, maybe it's sharm, like in the Punjabi Sikh community, when it comes to sharm, that we're scared to speak about somebody with issues in our house. So it might come to denial, but there is an organisation called the Ramadan Foundation, and one of them key figureheads, he spoke out and he admitted that there is a community issue, and that he spoke out about it.
I think there is an overrepresentation, because that's what the facts suggest. And the real thing here that we've got to focus on is what can we do to stop it? And I think there has got to be a self-reflection on the Pakistani community. Why is it that more and more of our men are involved in these crimes? Well, I think one of the reasons is obviously, I think, because there's a form of racism involved. They think that white girls are worthless, or they might think that Sikh girls are worthless, or Hindu girls are worthless, and therefore, you know, they're at liberty to do what they want.
Okay, Sar Sangarji, you just seen that video clip from the Ramadan Foundation, one of the spokesmen giving his insight into what they found to be the issue, and he's admitting openly from their organisation. But what we're going to do now is we're going to speak to Lord Singh, and Lord Singh's joining us, and it's so important to speak to Lord Singh, especially after the letter they wrote yesterday, where they publicly came out in support of what Sarah Champion said. So first of all, let's introduce Lord Singh to the show. Hanji, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Lord Singh, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the Sikh Youth Show today on Sikh Channel Sky 829. We're very privileged to have you as a guest speaker on the show, so thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Lord Ji, just very quickly, you wrote a letter yesterday, and it's made the headlines in several newspapers across the country, in particular in regards to your commending what the statement of what Sarah Champion MP said for Rotherham, in particular where she's saying in gang-related sexual grooming cases, majority or largely the men that were convicted came from a Pakistani Muslim heritage. That's her words.
That is right, and that is simply speaking the truth. And she was jumped on by her own party and by others for daring to say something, for daring to speak up for victims at the risk of being called a racist. And I think it was very brave of her, and we should all support her. There is too much political correctness. Victims should not be sacrificed on the altar of political correctness.
Okay, so Lord Singh, just to clarify that, but for someone who's holding public office to target a particular community, is that the right thing for her to do, though?
Well, let me give you a different example which illustrates the point.
Okay.
That when in this country there were cholera outbreaks, and people began to look at why, and some people reckoned it was due to contaminated water that was being drunk. And when they said that, even the medical profession jumped on them and said, there's nothing wrong with our water.
Right.
Now, when they looked at it, they found the cause and then managed to get to the cure.
Okay.
Now, we have to do this. If we don't look at what is happening, we just turn a blind eye, we'll never get anywhere, and we'll have these grooming cases again and again. There is a problem with the Pakistani Muslim community, or people mainly from the Pakistani Muslim community, and that is not to say that all Muslims are guilty. That is absolutely wrong. There is a small proportion of Muslims that behave in that way, and the Muslims should be the first to speak up and say, we're going to look at this.
Okay.
But if anyone says it, they're immediately branded a racist.
Okay.
That is totally wrong.
No, fair comment from what you're saying. I understand that. It's like the thing I was trying to get at is, due to the actions of a few, the whole community seems to be tarnished with that particular label.
Who is targeting the whole community? She never said the whole of the Pakistan Muslim community are guilty. It is, she said, men from that community.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Lord Singh. Just another thing, Lord Singh, while you're on the phone, this is another thing that I think we need to address. And someone like yourself, who's one of the key members of the Sikh community and leading figures within the Sikh community, one thing that I would like to bring out or point out is, and it's been pointed out on the show earlier, is majority of the MPs that do come out and speak about gang-related crime, sexual grooming, and when they say and they talk about this subject, they always mention the victims as white girls. Now, you know, and I know, that's not obviously the case. How do we address this?
Now, in the letter, Sarah Champion herself talked about white girls.
Yep.
And in the letter we do address this by saying it's not white girls, it is other people. It's always targeted at non-Muslims, and we have to recognize that. Regarding this sort of grooming, I brought it up in the Interfaith Network more than about 8 or 9 years ago, and there was a meeting with the Muslim community. And do you know what they said? They said, oh, best is we ignore those sort of people, and you should do the same. Now, that is not a helpful answer. They should look at it and do something about it. And yes, it is not white girls at all. It is others. And I've been raising this many times in the same way they use the word Asian.
Right.
When it's certainly not Koreans or people like that. It is people from the Pakistani Muslim community. Why use Asians? It is used as a camouflage word to play to the feelings of the Muslim community. I sympathize with the majority of the Muslims. They've got this problem. We shouldn't get at them, but they must help us do something about it.
Work together cohesively to get to the bottom of the problem and deal with the problem. Lord Singh, first of all, I think for myself and obviously all the viewers and the panel, and thank you for the work that you are doing, not just on this case, but a lot of other cases that you deal with within the community. You do some tremendous work, and it's commendable for you to come take your time out and join us on the Sikh Youth Show. Is there any other comments you would like to share with the viewers while you're on the phone, sir?
The only other comment, very kind remarks, the only other comment is that even within our own Sikh community, people play to political correctness or political affiliation before they dare say anything. We are Sikhs. We should be honest and speak up for truth and justice. Wherever it is, in the Lords, I speak up for all sorts of communities. Yep. Because human rights should be respected. But it's obligatory for Sikhs not to put their head in the sand and look the other way.
No, that's fair comment. Coming back on that, if you don't mind, I'll ask you this one last question or a comment from yourself. Because Sarah Champion, having made that statement, and then I believe when her bosses got involved within the party, she did resign. But she also said she apologised for her poor choice of words, was her actual comment, I believe. Now, do you think that was the right thing for her to do?
There was a word I think that she could have used. I'm just trying to think about it. That she said she could have. They are, instead of saying they are from the Pakistani Muslim community, she should have said mainly.
Okay.
And that would have been correct. Other people get involved in these nasty crimes as well.
Right.
But mainly it is from that one community. And I have had an email from her. She appreciates the support, and she's terrified of speaking up the truth.
Well, no, first of all, Lord Singh, thank you so much, sir, for taking your time out and joining us on the Sikh Youth Show today. Thank you for your kind words also. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Now, that was Lord Singh, obviously a statesperson within the community, and he feels strongly that they should be supporting people that speak the truth. That, like I said, and I think it was nice for them to address, to not target whole communities, but to point out what he's saying and the facts that the convicted, and he's going on about the convicted rate of gang-related grooming, mainly from that community. And obviously we saw that video clip just a few moments ago from that spokesperson from the Ramadan Foundation saying exactly similar to what Lord Singh's saying. Guys, we've only got a few minutes left on the show. Any last pointers in regards to this issue itself, and also if anyone's out there, because remember, this is so important, we share these platforms not to cause divisions but to create harmony and create bridges, right, between all communities, because when everybody's working together for the same goal to make sure that there is no girl out there that is being groomed, regardless of what colour she is, what background she's from. Yeah. This is what the main ethos should be between all groups and all parties, all faith groups, all communities and authorities working together cohesively to get to the bottom of this. But just is anything last you'd like to say, Deepa Baji, or shall we start with Kabir Singh? Kabir Singh, any last comments from yourself, working this way back in regards to today's show and today's topic?
Yeah, in cohesion with what you've just said, we've helped a couple of Pakistani girls as well in the last year, so we're not just having a go at one community, we've actually helped the Muslim community. And I just want to touch upon one last thing Lord Singh said about Sikhs being fearless in what they say. They should stand by the truth. That's 100% respect for him to come on here and say that, because sometimes we shy away from the real facts. He said the real facts, so I'd just like to, on behalf of Sikh Youth UK, respect to Lord Singh for that.
Thank you so much, Kabir Singh. Ishmeet Kaur?
Just exactly the same as Baji. Thank you so much to Lord Singh for standing up for the truth, representing Sikhi truthfully, and then repping the truth when he's doing his job. Do you know what I mean? So we really appreciate that, and I think our community needs to learn a lot from what he's just said.
Powerful words. Deepa Baji.
I just want to echo and second what Lord Singh said. First, I want to thank him for speaking the truth in his role, and the key thing he said is about people from the Sikh community and we're doing too much political correctness. That's not what Sikhi teaches us. Yeah, Sikhi Maharaj teaches us to speak the truth and stand up for the truth, and that's what I believe he's done on this situation, so thank him for that. Like Kabir said, we support anyone from any community. We have had, after the film that Bibi Ishmeet Singh starred in, the first case that came forward was a young Muslim girl, and we supported her. We're helping other Muslim girls as well. We're helping not just Muslim, not just Sikh, but people from the white community as well. Yeah. There's so many people that come forward with cases to us. It's not just about Sikh girls, but every girl is targeted, and victims can be from any community. We as a Sikh community need to stand up for the truth and support them. That's why we want to thank the Sikh channel again for giving us a platform each and every week. Thank Lord Singh and Cam for presenting today's show, which was a fantastic show and a great topic because it was hot in the news, to be fair, Baji.
Thank you so much for you guys, for your comments. Sar Sangaji, you've seen it for yourselves, you heard it for yourselves. Sikh Youth UK that are dealing with the cases, like they said, they help one and all, regardless of the background, faith. And I think this is exactly what the ethos and the message that we should be following. Help everybody that needs the help. And this is where we should be working together with all communities to target the problem, whatever causing the problem, get to the root of it, working with authorities to get to the root of it and dealing with it, and remembering the focus instead of the groomer is the victim. That's where our focus should be, because what that poor individual must go through when becomes a victim of sexual grooming, it is horrendous. As a kid, we've actually had to deal with cases ourselves, so I've seen the families, I've seen the victims, I've dealt with this sort of thing, so I know how hard it is, not only the individual but the people around her. This is why I openly ask on air, all of us, all communities, all backgrounds, let's work together to get to the bottom of it. I thank Lord Singh for his call today and Sikh Youth UK for allowing me to present the show. If we've offended anyone or we've said anything wrong, we apologise. Apart from that, thank you for watching the Sikh Youth Show. We'll see you next week at 9 p.m. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.